Hello and welcome to BizTalk, and this is a program which we will discuss on matters concerning the national key economic areas and companies that involves directly or indirectly to the economic transformation program. And I am your host, Suryati Sanusi, and today we'll be talking about nurturing Malaysia's creative content industry. And in the studio today I have Mr. Tan Ai Kiong, or AK for short. He is the director of ACMO Studios, and with him we have Mr. Stephen Low Kang Wen, the Business Development Manager, also from ACMO Studios. So welcome to the show. Right. I was also told that both of you are the founder of ACMO Studios. So how did this inception be? Could you actually tell us a little bit?
Okay, so we have founded ACMO Studio in year 2011. And how does it actually start is previously we are actually a web application company. Then we have found that the market is really small and the demand is not so high, but there are a lot of competitors. So then found out the government actually have this program under the CCI Entry Point Project 1, which the name is ICON, Integrated Content Development. So this ICON, the purpose is to educate the local developers to enhance their skill, to teach them how to build the iOS and Android applications. Then both of us actually participate in this program, and we found that this program is really useful because it's not about the funding, it's about the knowledge. So we learn how to build the apps. And then the criteria to get a reimbursement is that because we have to pay upfront. So the government only give us a reimbursement after we have successfully developed and published the apps in the Apple App Store.
And Stephen, both of you have been friends for the longest time, since secondary school, if I'm not mistaken. So how do you feel working together and developing and creating and founding this ACMO Studios?
It's a very interesting experience to work together with ICON because we both have the same interest in this new industry. And we know this it will grow actively in the future. That's why once we have the same interest when coming to talking about mobile things, we are just can talk non-stop.
In sync.
We can just talk non-stop about it.
And working together with your friend, do you think that it's going to be, it's going to jeopardize the future, or it's going to be a clear path for you?
Yeah, the path is clear because we see the same things. We see that the mobile contents industry will keep growing. In the future, more and more people will get hold of a smartphone.
Could you tell us a little bit on what ACMO is doing?
Okay, so ACMO, there are two parts. One part is we are building for the enterprise. The other part is we are building for the
Before that, what ACMO stands for, if you don't mind my asking?
ACMO actually combination of two words. AG stands for Agile. Then Agile Mobile. MO is mobile.
So you were continuing what you wanted to tell us about ACMO?
So I will start with the enterprise part first. So we build applications which tailor for the enterprise, such as we build for multinational companies like Amway, Fujitsu, DG, and like Mata Fair, Miss Universe Malaysia TV show. So these are, they will give us what they actually want and then what is the business objective. Then we will help to develop an applications which suit their business objective. This is on the business part.
Probably Stephen would like to add something about ACMO?
Yeah, so on the personal part, we also have products, they're our own products. So it's actually this kind of product, normally we look into the market ourselves, monitoring the news and the social, what kind of elements actually needs, especially for the local market. So for example, on the last year, actually when the Penang mural coming popular at Penang, so we actually come out with iOS Penang mural offline map.
I see.
That definitely will help to promote the travel tourism industry.
We also have a package where one of my colleagues went to your studio and took a look at what you have there. So let's take a look at the clip right now.
At one time, Maslow used the term psychological, safety, belongingness and love, esteem, self-actualization and self-transcendence needs to describe the pattern that human motivation generally move through. But in this era, we tend to rely on technology called mobile application to ease our daily chores and sometimes our dilemma. Most of us think that a mobile application is produced in other international countries or it comes together with the device that we have purchased, when the truth is, these applications are engineered specially by mobile content developers and some of them are our fellow Malaysians. Atmos Studios is one of the leading software development firms in Malaysia that offers mobile and web solution applications to businesses and consumers. Mobile software development includes research, new development, prototyping, modification, re-engineering, maintenance, and any other activities that results in software-based products. In a broader sense of term, it includes all that is involved between the conception of the desired software through the manufacturing of the software, ideally in a planned and structured process. Software can be developed for a variety of purposes. The three main common reasons is to meet the specific needs of a specific client, potential users, and personal users. If you ever wonder who are these individuals who create applications for your devices, well, they are known as mobile content developers who are not only responsible for engineering it, but they are also responsible in maintaining it and upgrading it from time to time. What makes mobile applications feel interesting is that they are allowed to progress as the technology grows stronger in par with other developing countries that knows no limit. Before creating an application, we must first identify if the platform used is compatible and reliable enough for us to run a specific application. Hence, the reason of having beta versions of application is simply for them to test the application if it's working just the way it should be. Mobile application is also an interesting and great way to generate an income. There are 4 ways for a mobile application company to generate money, and they are by selling the applications, allowing the application to be installed for free but has fixed advertisement clients, freemium, which is also a free application, but the users will contribute financially when they want to purchase for extra lives or instant level upgrades. This method is used by applications such as Farmville, Candy Crush, and so much more. Subscription of books and magazine application is also one of the ways of generating income via mobile application development.
Normally, how the process works is someone that want the apps, they normally come to us, the mobile content developer. So we help them to do all the software development, including UI design, the specification, feature requirement, everything. We come up with them and help them to design the apps. So after we design the app, we go into development phase. So Apple and Apple and Google actually provide the platform in native for how to produce a software app on their platform. So we're using on the existing platform to develop, to come out the feature required by the client and submit to their marketplace.
So far, Atmos Studios has published more than 20 mobile applications in iOS and Android platform.
Mobile application is indeed a brilliant idea that is designed to ease our everyday life. The next time you're installing an application, just remember that it could be designed by one of us Malaysians, simply because Malaysia boleh. I'm Nora Ashraf reporting for BizTalk.
Right, that was an interesting clip. Now, that was an interesting studio as well. So I was just trying to wonder whether you use the normal computer or you have special equipment to actually develop all these applications.
All our staff is actually using the Apple MacBook for the developments.
Right.
The reason being is in order to develop iOS application is a requirement to actually have a Mac machine.
That's iOS. How about Android?
Me myself, I have an Android developer also.
Okay.
So any device that you have, Windows, Linux, Ubuntu, or Mac, you can just develop Android.
Right, okay, that's as easy. So my colleague also mentioned beta. Not many people out there know what beta is. Probably you can actually explain what beta is and what is it for.
Beta.
Yeah.
Beta is normally they want to launch a product and then they want to test the market response. So they will, let's say, an application, they will try to launch with a few features. Then they will, based on the user study, then they identify which is the feature that the user use the most. Then they will continue to develop on top of that. So after that, then they will have a normal version instead of just a beta version. Basically, beta version is to test the market response.
Right. So it's just for testing. Do we need to pay for that if we use a beta application?
Normally we don't pay for beta application, but and it is a rule that in Apple App Store there is no such word as beta. So that's why in Google Play you will see some application with a beta word, but in Apple App Store you never see beta.
Right, okay. We'll take a short break right now, and when we come back we'll talk more on this matter right here on BizTalk. Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@bernama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. And today we're talking about nurturing Malaysia's creative content industry with Mr. Tan Ike Kyong, or AK, the director of ACMO Studio, and also his friend Stephen Low Kang Weng, the business development manager of ACMO Studios. Like before we went for a break, we were looking at your things that you do there, and I saw this application on babies that intrigues me. What is that for actually?
So basically the idea is from a developer called Tong. So he just have a newborn baby.
Right.
And when he have the baby, he found that the problem is when he need to actually create a special folder to store all his baby folder. Otherwise, all the pictures just lumped together. It's just too messy.
Right.
And then he want to record how many days is this baby. So it's 30 days, 60 days, yes. Then also you can record the mood, whether they are happy, they are not happy.
Right.
So that's why you see the opportunity. Then he created this app called InstaB, Instagram for the baby.
Right.
So beside that, this is after you have a baby, but we have another apps for those who actually want to make the baby. This is working together with one of the women specialists in Malaysia, Dr. Baskaran. So he's a really expert in this industry. So he come to us and then he say, okay, he want to solve a problem. Is basically using an ovulation calculator. This is part of the mobile healthcare.
I see.
And then actually the apps itself is not too complicated. It's just calculating the ovulation period. And then we found that the review is really good because there are one woman who actually give a review. Thanks for this app, I finally get pregnant. After 10 years of trying. So we feel so touched is that technology can help someone to create a new life.
A new life,
yes.
Right. And that application is only on iOS, if I'm not
both
mistaken.
iOS and Android.
Right. Any interesting application from Android?
For Android, we actually have a new launch on one of the we call it Malacca offline travel maps. Okay, this app's actually we won it in the Cellcom Android App Challenge as a winners. So what it do is actually just offline maps with a lot of interesting stuff on Malacca's that we just pinpoint in the apps. Then when users download it and install in their device, when they go to Malacca, they no need to have any data plans at all. So this is actually why we will develop this app is actually because normally travelers from overseas or local, sometimes we don't have data plans.
What can we find in the application? Maybe can we find food or hotels from the application?
Yeah, you actually can find food and the nearby interesting point like A Famosas, like Satay Chelo, the Jongle Street, everything you can find inside there.
And who updates this? If there's upcoming mall or something like that in Malacca, who updates it?
Actually, we publish the app, so we need to eventually update the contents to it. Whenever user update the data, update the apps from the App Store, then it will be storing in their device.
I see.
They no need to have online data connection to go to surf it during their travel times.
Why don't you want to share it with everyone? With the small information, why can't you just share it with everyone who wants to go to Malacca and have that application?
Yeah. This application actually can directly download from Google Play.
I see.
Yeah.
And besides Google, besides that application, any other applications that involve both platforms that you have created?
Oh yeah, we have a new product for the small and medium enterprise called Cloud Mobile Content Management System.
Okay.
So what we see the problem in the market is the customer actually wants some common thing, like they want to have a outlet listing, news listing, and they want to update the content on the fly. So when we see this kind of same requirements, so we develop this as a solution. So this enables the SMB to have their own mobile apps at a cheaper cost, because they don't have to do a customized development and very fast time to market. Because they just need to manage the content, then they call us to publish, then the app can be ready within 1 day. So this is the special part about our solution, Cloud Mobile Content Management System.
Right. What was your first application that you did?
Oh, the first application that I've did is a Malaysia restaurant.
Which is for?
Which is for, similarly the concept is about offline, because the time that I developed this application is around year 2010.
Okay.
So I think there are less than 10 apps developed by Malaysians during that time. So, and very interesting is the apps goes into the top 10 downloads of the food and beverage ranking in the Apple App Store until today, from year 2010 until now. So,
is it available on Google Play as well?
No, only on iOS.
Right.
Yes.
I think people should know the difference between the two platforms. Probably you can actually explain what is iOS platform, and then you can explain what Android, and why is it different, and each developer probably has to choose one or has to create two for both platforms. iOS first.
Okay, so iOS basically invented by Apple, so it is running on only 3 devices, which is iPod Touch, iPhone, and also iPad.
Yes.
So iOS developer, they use a Mac and then use a Xcode SDK to develop the applications. The major difference between iOS and Android is that iOS, they focus on the security. So each application that you install in your phone is actually need to do a code signing, so you know who is the developers. But this kind of rules does not apply to Android. And then secondly is about the usability. So as you can see from iPhone, the first generation iPhone until the iPhone 5, you don't see a lot of user experience change. So Apple is trying to maintain the simplicity and then to maintain a consistent user experience.
Right. Yeah. So Google Play or Android lost in security.
So it's actually a benefit in this case. So for Android, it's actually supported by Google's.
Right.
So since it opened up, so there's a lot of more manufacturer able to support it.
Okay.
So like Samsung, HTC, everything. So it actually helped the Android grow much faster compared to iOS in current industrial. So when they open it up, actually more developer coming in and point out that which actually they can enhance on. Doesn't mean that they don't have the security. It's just that more people able to go in to look into the platform and produce out more creative content in the platform itself.
Right. You mentioned a few of your applications, and I noticed that your applications are more targeted to the local Malaysia. Do you have any applications that is for international?
Yes, the Cloud Mobile Content Management System.
Right.
So the one is actually an app generation product for the small and medium enterprise. So we are licensing this product to one of a China company, and we're setting out joint venture relationship with another Indonesia and also some of the Qatar. So they help us to localize this product. And then this Cloud Mobile Content Management System is, let's say you are the online fashion entrepreneur, then you can come to this platform and then you can publish your own application. What you need to do is just basically to input your product, something like that, yes.
And all your applications that you have like more than 20 applications right now?
Actually, we have around 70.
70 already, okay. So you have 70 applications. What's the feedback you're getting from the consumers, especially locals, on your application?
Okay, actually we are doing quite well in terms of local contents. Like we have 4 applications in the top 10 ranking of the respective categories. What made our applications different is we really understand the local market.
Yes.
For example, we have a Malaysia home loan calculator. It does nothing but just basically we consult the local lawyer, local mortgage agent. What is the special rules that only appear in Malaysia? Previously, when you go to Apple App Store or Google Play, you search for home loan calculator, then it is not actually according to Malaysia laws and regulation.
I see.
Because let's say we have an EPF withdrawal, there is a criteria, MRTA, maybe this is only applicable in Malaysia. So that's why we are making this, and it's doing very well. It is a top 10 finance application in Malaysia since the first day it launched.
Any other applications that in the top 10 in Malaysia? Stephen?
Yeah, maybe one of actually our client is
Okay.
CITOS.
Okay.
So it's actually a credential check. Check your credential. So it's actually very tied to local markets. So because it's tied to very personal, it can be handled by a overseas company.
Right.
So it's actually a local company that provide this mobile application that through us, you can able to log in using your profile. I see everything after verified. You're able to do your self-check using your mobile device.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's safe? You know, I can actually check on people with that application.
No, they have a very strict rules. You have to take a picture of your IC. So they make sure you own the applications.
Right. We'll talk about applications. Any other products that Atmos is doing?
We are only focusing in mobile applications.
Right.
So as
you do web solutions as well. What about web solutions?
Web solution, we are actually Microsoft BizTalk partner, so we're focusing on the cloud because the trend about mobile application is growing every year, every day actually.
Right.
So we have to leverage on the cloud infrastructure because we cannot predict what will be the next round of users. Let's say maybe today is only 10,000, tomorrow will be suddenly 100,000.
Right.
So that's why we are using the Microsoft cloud technology. Then leverage on that, so we are able to scale up anytime.
Right. And this application development industry in Malaysia is very, very new, and obviously it's without some pros and cons. So we also interviewed Mr. Woon Tai Hai from PCOM, and we get to get his comment on this industry. Let's take a look at the clip.
Actually, that's a very good question. You know, I did thought about it. You know, are we behind? Are we ahead? Actually, it's very difficult to compare because the only thing we hear about are those applications that actually hits the world. You know, with multi-billion-dollar acquisitions. Like for example, Waze, for example, WAZE. I'm sure all of us have used it one form or another. It's been sold, I believe, at about a billion USD. So do you say that, and they're developed by Israelis, for example, in Israel. But so do you say that Israel has the biggest developer? Not necessary. As I look around in Malaysia, I do see a lot of people developing apps. Even one of my colleagues, you know, who is nothing to do with ICT, he's also developing apps. But when he said, oh, one day my apps will hit the world, okay, fine, it's great. So I think there is no comparison. The key question is, how do you get to the last mile? How do you get your apps, your mobile apps, to be recognized by the world, by the global, and get paid for it? Now that is something that perhaps people need to consider. You know, so certainly I don't think there's an answer to that question, except the fact that the potential is there, and I think the Malaysians are doing that. Now whether it's doing enough to reach to that last mile, that's a question that we have to dwell on. I think that again is a mindset issue, if you ask me. It's not to do with a talent issue. I suppose that probably come to our Asian culture of scared to fail. You know, scared to fail, scared to lose, if I had to use the colloquial. So I suppose that, as I say again, I think the parents will have to play a big role because at the start of it. And I suppose the examples that we see throughout the world probably may help too, because today you look at some of the simple apps that we've seen, it's so simple, but yet it's sell for multi-million dollars. So that indirectly may also change the perspective of our younger generation here, or the younger developers here. So I think that gives them hope, you know. But as a society, we also cannot suppress it, you know. That means we cannot see if somebody do not develop apps and did not get it commercialized. I use the word commercialized. Don't penalize him, you know. Just because you didn't reach the last mile, you're okay. You know? But not say okay, but it's acceptable. But those that have reached the level of global, we should promote them as much as we can. You know, give them all the recognition, just like we do for our sports, for example. So if I look at it, perhaps this can be a game changer for us, perhaps, because it allows us to leapfrog. We don't go through the traditional applications. You know, we can't compete with the traditional software developing giants. I won't mention name, you know, but you all know what I'm talking about. So this will be a game changer, at least for us, for a community here, to bring us to the next level.
Right, before we answer Mr. Woon's comments, we'll take a short break, so stay tuned to BizTalk. Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@panama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. And today we have Mr. Tan Ike Kyong, the director of ACMO Studio, and also Mr. Stephen Low Kang Wen, the business development manager, also from ACMO Studios. Now, before we went for a break, we were watching Mr. Woon Tai Hai, the chairman of PCOM, telling us about the application industry, development industry. So one of it, he said that we are not behind. It's like what we're trying to strive here is that, are we strong enough to go for the last mile? Stephen, probably you can answer that.
Yeah, I actually agree with Mr. Woons. So there's nothing is calling about behind or in front actually. I have a few of friends in this industry. They're actually performing quite well.
Okay.
Their game is actually selling a lot in China, at European country. It's actually performing quite well.
Right.
So that cannot be saying that Malaysians mobile content developer is behind.
Right.
It's just that the attitude of local developers,
right,
whether they're willing to try out, to go for the challenge. A lot of them actually maybe prefer a safer life, just work for some company. Even when they have idea, they just think about it and
right,
not go into action about it.
Right.
So what I will suggest is, all the teenagers, when you have an idea, you just go for it.
Right.
Try to accept the challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
And can we be recognized internationally with our piece right now?
Yes, actually we are doing quite well in the international art arena as well. So for example, our company is actually a winner of ASEAN ICT Awards, like Hong Kong Mobile Affinity, and also APITA. So we have won quite a lot of international and local awards. But talking back to the talent developments, actually Malaysia is never short of talent. Definitely never.
Right.
So,
but he mentioned the mindset. It's not about the talent, it's the mindset where we are afraid to fail, and we penalize because we fail, and because of the mindset of the Asian. What say you about that?
I wouldn't say it's everyone. Some of them is still willing to try.
Right.
One thing that I want to share with you is that Malaysia, we actually have a lot of good programs to help you in terms of if you want to learn about the app developments, like we have the ICON program, so you can go and learn the skill. And for working professional, we have the MSc Malaysia My Pro Sub program.
Right.
So you can also attend this kind of course and you can actually acquire the mobile app development skill easily.
Okay. Right. Let's take a look at the second package that we have from Mr. Woon Tai Hai.
Firstly, we must evolve from a consumption mentality to a creation mentality or society. I think that's very important. And secondly, we must inculcate innovation and creativity at an early stage, including mindsets, and also fundings. For example, we must have conducive funding models to help our young developers. And of course, thirdly, is for all of us to have a global perspective, not just a local one, instead of just a local one. For example, if you're going to call your apps, I love Dongdang Sayang. I love it. I hear it. I may be, but if you call it apps Dongdang Sayang, it's only a smaller community. So I'm not trying to suggest the marketing strategy, but certainly something that is more globalized. Yeah, even though the content may be very much local for now, who knows? It may go in the region and local. So I think that's an important mindset that developers should have. That even the naming itself, because the naming itself tells a lot, And I suppose those are the three messages. And in just a final word, I personally believe, or even I speak on behalf of PCOM, there's abundant opportunities and huge potential in mobile apps business. The only challenge, as I mentioned just now, how do you get the world to know about it and get paid for it? okay, I suppose I can speak it from an association point of view. What we can do to promote this. I suppose number one, we can give out more awards in this aspect here. We definitely can. And awards does drive some of this innovation. And I suppose we can have what we call the usual dialogue with the government agencies like MDEC, and all the ministry itself, and see how we can collaborate from an industry and the government perspective. And also an association, we can also continuously create the awareness, the education aspect, the indirect education I call it, and to promote it and I suppose represent the nation, when we go out to start talking to our counterparts in the region or in the globe to say that, hey, this is what Malaysia have, these are some of the talents that we have, and this is what we're doing, to educate not to educate, but to at least make the world aware that, hey, Malaysia, we're actually doing it. I hate to say that a lot of people overseas may not even know where Malaysia is, sad to say, but they know where Singapore is, but Malaysia, So maybe as an association, we can do that. That indirectly will help. Now, whether it's going to be a good outcome, finally, I think it's not just about the association. It's also about, I mentioned, the parties involved, and definitely the mindset of the individual. The parents like ourselves have to change our mindset to when we start mentoring our children.
Right, that was an interesting comment. Like, first one, he mentioned that we need to evolve from consumer base into a creative industry. My question is, are we creative enough to be there, to be international? Stephen?
Yeah, I think Malaysia is very creative.
Right.
What you see in when they're posting on Facebook, the message, the picture they're sharing out. Yes, just depends on whether after they have the creative idea, whether they go another further step to implement it.
Right.
Yeah.
And at ACMO, do we give them a chance to actually show their creativeness?
Yeah, of course. So because normally when the apps come in, it's just an idea.
Right.
So how to evolve the idea into a real apps, we will leave this to the staff to let them to decide how does the screen should look like, what kind of feature that should leverage and build into the apps.
And he also mentioned that applications should have a global name or global perspective.
Yes, I totally agree with this. So one famous phrase is build local, aim global.
Right, which means?
Which means that the apps can be built in Malaysia, but you should target for global market.
Right.
So of course we can have a localized name because in the Apple App Store and Google Play we actually support a localization.
Yes.
So in Malaysia market we can display a Malay name.
Right.
Let's say in China market we display a Chinese name. This is not a problem. So the app name itself, I agree, is very important.
Right.
And yeah.
Probably Stephen would like to add to that in globalizing the perception?
I think if you start something, we can just start small.
Right.
But you need to think big. You need to think that whether this is how it will with someone from Indonesia, like your apps, how you adapt to them. Because in the application world, there's no Malaysians only. It is, if you upload to the App Store, it can be downloaded wherever at US, at Europe countries.
Right.
So your apps could be very famous in Europe one day.
Right.
And no one's know about this app in Malaysia.
Right.
It is possible. So you need to think big, and maybe you can just target European if your idea is specific.
It's on the European.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing he also said that we had to promote the industry now. Like, what kind of promotions do you have to promote ACMO so far? Any events that you've gone through before?
Yes, we quite active participate in the events such as last year we are in the Go Mobile.
Right.
So we showcase our product to the consumer. And this coming September, we are in the SME Solution Expo.
Right.
So if you are interested to find out more about our products, you can always be there. It's in Mid Valley.
Any international expo that you've been through?
Yes, we represent Malaysia to go for ASEAN ICT Awards in Myanmar and Philippines.
Okay.
So we actually showcase our product in Philippines as well.
Right.
And other than that, we also in the International Apita last year in Brunei.
Right. And the perception and the reception of
the reception is okay. Yes, because we managed to get a few deals from the trade show itself. One good thing about the Malaysia is we already have the official trade mission. So we travel to some countries and we can exchange to do a business matching.
Right. And I'd just like to know whether is our creative content industry is lucrative enough right now? Stephen?
I think there's a lot of creative apps out there.
Okay.
And compared to 2 years back, actually the current publishers, they already start more focusing on local contents. So they start digging out what Malaysia apps, that apps developed by Malaysia, they start promoting it. I think this is a good channel for local public consumer to get known to the Malaysia's app.
Right, okay, we'll take another short break, and when we come back, we'll talk more on this matter right here on BizTalk. Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@bernama-tv, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. And today we're talking about nurturing Malaysia's creative content industry with Mr. Tan Ai Kyong, the director of Agmo Studio, and also Mr. Stephen Low Kang Wen, the Business Development Manager of Agmo. Right, before we go on with the question and answer session, we also have public's opinion on the creative content industry. So let's take a look at the clip right now.
Mobile application is a trend now. So besides personal use, they can still be using in a corporate, such as there are quite a lot of fields that are using the mobile apps now, like maybe the medical fields or business. So because they can provide some real-time information and some geolocation.
Like those apps for that really can help in daily routines, such as the healthcare app. Like every time we went for an appointment, for a healthcare appointment, we can record down inside the apps and including a reminder. So like maybe like 1 day or 1 week before, we can know our next appointment is when. And besides that, also our menstrual period. Can record down our menstrual period, the last day, and when is the next time.
If we don't pay for the mobile apps, right, the developers is building the apps maybe 3 times or 4 times. They need the resources, even for the money, human resources, or maybe the server technologies all need monies. If they didn't receive any money or resources for the apps, right, then maybe they'll terminate the apps, and we can't use the maybe very useful apps just because lack of resources. So we should donate or pay for the apps to support their project.
The main challenge for me is whenever, for example, I log on, I could, for example, for traffic, I could be on for the next half an hour or 1 hour, and that really dries up the battery. And I need an external charger in order for me to stay online throughout the rest of the day. So that could be some of the challenge for me.
The negative part is, well, in Facebook, you know, some strangers will know that I'm not quite like the strangers to access to my photo book or my updates. So that is my worries about that.
Basically, they are all quite useful and easy to use. Just that sometimes you have to pay for the advanced levels, yeah.
That's a few comments from the public on the mobile application. So one thing they mentioned, like which is very helpful if it's like for healthcare application, where they remind you of your appointments and, you know, whatever conditions that you might have. So probably you can add to that as well, some helpful applications that you have.
Okay, yeah, healthcare application, we have built around 10 healthcare applications in the Apple Store and Google Play. Most of them are related to the women healthcare, such as to track the last appointment date, and then you can set a reminder whether you want to have this appointment in the next year or next 2 years, something like that, yes. Other than for personal, there are some business usage, such as one of our customers want to build a QR code warehousing system. Basically, it's using the iPhone, you scan the QR code, then you can do a stock in or stock out.
Yes.
Something like that will be very useful.
That's easier, yeah?
Yes.
And one thing they mentioned as well is like, when you build an application, the problem here now is how can you maintain the popularity of the application? Probably Stephen can answer that.
Actually, based on the features enhancement, you need to roll out eventually. So actually based on, for example, the baby apps, so there's a need in the market. So whenever from time to time you need to update it. So for example, you're adding a new design for the frames, people will like it, then continue will use it.
And by saying that, you mentioned that baby Instagram, there's a lot of application out there for pictures and for uploading pictures. So how can you stay on top and be updated all the time?
Actually, there's the benefit part is actually the particular apps is actually very targeted to babies.
Okay.
Yeah. So for newborns, parents actually like to use their phone to take photo. So that's the unique part that it get recognized in the App Store.
Right. And
I would say the key point is a niche market. You need to have a niche market, and then you have to observe the market. Whether there is a new competitor coming out, then what are the advantages? Then you have to identify your unique proposition. And if there is no, you have to continue further developments in order to keep it on top of the competitors.
Right. Okay. One thing one of them mentioned, which I think it's kind of interesting, to actually earn some money when you are creating a free application. So how do you earn some money from that?
Okay, there are a few kind of monetization model in the app development. So first one, the most easiest way, of course, the app has to be paid. We call this a one-time payoff. Okay, this is the standard one, but this normally is not very popular. The more popular one will be the freemium model. Or we call that an in-app purchase. So the developer give you the application for free. If you want some freemium feature, you have to pay for it.
By saying that, I noticed that a lot of applications from iOS, we have to pay rather than from Android. Can you actually give us why is that?
I think it is because the culture of Google practice, they try to open up everything. So, but eventually, actually, the user on Android, the revenue they're able to get in some of the app is actually higher compared to iOS.
Really? In what
way?
It's
because of based on the freemium model. People will like to try out the app first, and when they like it, they buy for it. They pay for advanced features, additional features. Yeah.
And also, I noticed that some application, when it's in the Android or Google Play, it's free, but in iOS we have to pay. Why is that so?
It really depends on the pricing strategy, such as like WhatsApp. In WhatsApp, in iOS, it's actually you pay for $99 you get it for a lifetime. But for Android, it's subscription
99
model.
99 cents, I think.
Yes, 99 cents. Sorry. So in Android, it's the other way around. You have to pay it every year. So it's different. So it's whether they choose the one-time payment, and the other one is the subscription model.
Yes. And you mentioned that you like to talk about the mindset that we have right now. So probably you can.
Because this morning I just have a session with MMU, Multimedia University. So we are talking about why nowadays the youngster they don't like to become entrepreneur. I agree that one of the parent mindset is very important. Because if the children say, I want to become entrepreneur, so they will ask, when are you going to find a real job? So it's actually the mindset from the parents that they might want to encourage their children to actually try out something by their own first.
And as an advice, if their children is into building mobile application, what should the parents do to encourage that kind of creative?
Okay, then they can leverage on the government program. I would say it's like ICON program, or the other called CILL, Creative Industry Lifelong Learning. So like for our company, we actually use this program to train more game developers, because we are more on the content development. We do know about app game development. So the government offer this program to help us to upskill, to learn about game development using Unity program.
Any other government's initiative or incentives given to such developers like yourself?
I would say if the developer is relatively new to the industry, such as they don't know app development at all, they can look into this program called ICON, Integrated Content Development. So in this program, they will get to learn how to do the programming in the mobile platforms such as iOS, Android, and Windows phones. And then if they are already acquired this skill, means let's say they already have experience, 2 years of experience in this industry, they can further upskill their skill using this MSc Malaysia MyProsa program. So we have an iOS certification, so they can go through this program and then to prove that they are really good developers. Yeah, then other than that, there is another called Creative Industry Lifelong Learning Program, CILL.
Okay.
So in this program, they're also only eligible for those creative content industry practitioners with more than 2 years of experience.
Right.
So they can go to this program and for upskilling purpose as well.
Right. Do you want to add into the government's initiative that we have so far?
So after you learn out the basic skill that to help you to build an app, after you build an app, you may start to looking for investor and may looking for more funding.
Yes.
In this case. In this case, you can actually look into cradles.
Okay.
There's fundings provided by government also to help you to market your app even further.
Right.
So in the private sector, maybe you can look into the, for example, MyEG, make the pitch competitions. They actually help a lot of new startup to grow in this area also.
Right, it does. Okay. Has the local content industry been fully exploited? Have we gone through everything in the creative content industry so far? Your opinion on this?
Yes, I think the local content development is actually quite good.
Right.
Yeah, we have a different kind of content development, let's say app development, game development, TV program development, and the government actually have an initiative to set up a creative content industry guild.
Right.
So in this, they actually provide a listing for all the creative content practitioners, and they give accreditation. So you know this guy is really, really good. So this is accredited by the government itself.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, how about you and your other competitors, especially from the international players?
Yeah, then I will compare against using our product called mobile content management system. So how we are competing with others is we have our unique proposition, such as instead of just managing the single content, we allow the users to actually manage many contents. So using the Excel file. Excel file is something that we are really familiar, so they can easily use our product to manage the bulk contents. So from time to time, we actually study the competitor products and we found out what they actually short of, then we actually implement on top of that.
Right. And is there any loopholes to enhance this creative content industry, Stephen?
So in the creative content industry, there's actually in Malaysia particulars, I think still can grow a lot much bigger.
Right.
Because currently in Malaysia, the local developer is actually not so get published. So when they publish an app, it's not get recognized so much as well.
Right.
So like previously, Mr. Woon said that even if have more local awards, more local publisher that help them, this will be a very benefit.
Right.
Yes, the key point is the market access. It's very important.
Okay. For ICT, how many is it contributing to the GNI, if you know the figures?
The figure, yes, I have the figure.
Right.
Yes, around. So a goal for Digital Malaysia is to have this into 17% of the GNI.
Which is a lot, yeah? 70%?
The goal for Digital Malaysia. Then, of course, we want to increase the ranking in Economics Intelligence Unit as well to 20, yes.
So where are we doing right now?
We are 43, if not mistaken.
Right. So towards 2020, what are we trying to achieve in the creative content industry?
Of course, we hope to contribute in terms of building the high income nation.
High income nation.
Yes.
By creating more applications, probably helping a lot of Malaysians as well?
Yes.
Okay. And I know MDEC is doing some role as well. So could you actually explain on MDEC's role?
MDEC, the good thing about MDEC is they are building an ecosystem instead of just funding. Ecosystem, the beautiful ecosystem is after you have learned the programming itself, then you publish your app, you get channel to further exhibit your apps, such as today we are in KLCC to exhibit our products.
Right.
Yeah, from time to time, let's say that Windows, they launch a new phone, and they will invite us to actually go to have a look, something like that. Yes.
Right. We are almost to the end of the program, so could you tell us your future, ACMO's future, towards 2020 or probably events that are coming up soon? Okay?
Oh, yeah. So our ultimate goal for ACMO Studio is enable everyone to have your own mobile apps. So we are continuing building our product called mobile content management system.
Right.
Now we already have the product developed. So the final goal is to have more local content generated so that it will further increase our digital ranking as well.
Stephen?
Yeah, we strongly believe that our apps will suit your need.
Okay.
And you must have a mind that you want to develop something. You can talk to us. email us, contact us directly.
Where can they contact you? How can they contact you? What's your website address? www.
Yeah, our website address is www.acmostudio.com.
Right.
And our email address admin@acmostudio.com.
Right, that's how you can be contacted. Right, thank you so much for being with us and giving us some of your inputs on today's topic. And thank you so much for tuning in to BizTalk. And until we meet again real soon, I'm Surati Sanusi. Goodbye.